Hi YouTube, it is Keeping Up with Key, and I would like to welcome you guys to the Pushing Positive podcast. If you are new here, please like, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification button because I am going to attempt, I'm not going to make any promises because life be life. I'm going to attempt to continue to drop videos weekly. And if you don't already, follow me on Instagram at a17.key_. Before we get started, I would like to incorporate giving a Bible verse before I start my video. So we're going to jump right into that. I have my Bible right here, and I am coming from Revelations chapter 2, verse 9. And it reads, I know thy works and tribulations and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Again, I've read to you Revelations chapter 2, verse 9. If you haven't already, go tune into my last video. My last video basically, but the first video that jumped into my podcast. I went over a lot of topics, and it basically just gives you a feel of how my podcast is going to be. But as I said before in the last video, each video is intended to get better. And I know I'm in a different scenery, but bear with me. So I know you guys are probably also wondering, Key, where have you been? I know, y'all, I had to give myself a mental break from everything. I had to slow down. I had to just take a break. There was a loss in my family, and that's also a part of the reason why I'm filming this video. And as y'all seen by the title already, so y'all will know the title already. But I basically had to give myself time to grieve, which is bringing me into the topic of this video, stages of grief. Well, the 5 stages of grief. Some people say there are 7, but we're just going to go over the 5 basically and go in depth on each phase. I also want to put it out there before I even get started. The stages of grief, there are 5, but everyone is different. Everyone goes through each phase at a different sequence. So not the same 2 people will go through the same phases at the same sequence. Like, they won't be in denial first. Some person might be angry first, then be at denial last. Or some people may have acceptance first, and then have depression last. Like, you never really know. So we're gonna jump right into these topics, and before we get started, I'm gonna list the 5 stages of denial right here. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna ask you guys some questions to think about if you ever deal with anything concerning grief or make sure you stay to the end of this video so you can check out those questions. You can either answer them in the comments, or you can also follow me on Instagram at a17.key_. You can DM me the answers, or you can just take the questions down and ask them and answer them personally. It can be personal, So let's jump right into this video. So before we get started, I like to give the definition of grief. The definition of grief is deep sorrow caused by loss or death. So with that being said, I had to look that up because grief is not always the loss of someone. It can be the loss of something, a loss of like an item, a car, you know, a job, something that you care about. So you grieve that loss. It's like a loss of something, basically. So I want to put that out there first so you guys know. The we're gonna jump right into the first stage. Well, not the first stage. Somebody get a car. I don't know if y'all heard that. But anywho, the first phase that we're gonna go over is denial. Denial is disbelief. Usually denial is usually heavy on the usually, because like I said, everybody goes through these phases at a different sequence. Denial is usually the first sequence that you go through, like in the moment when you receive the information of the loss. We're gonna call it loss. So whether it's you lost a loved one or item, something, like, it don't matter, we're gonna call it loss. So usually the first one is disbelief. It's like being in shock, not able to wrap your mind around it. It's just, y'all know what being in denial is, because denial is delusional, period. They're the same thing. So that brings me to my next stage, which is depression. Depression is art of sadness. It's being sad. I think this is one of the biggest phases of grief, because this is where the feelings actually come in. Sometimes you need to distance yourself. Sometimes you need to just dissociate. You can't even be how you usually are on a normal day because you're dealing with grief. So like, you're sad. Some people may cry. It's okay to cry. Crying makes you human. If you don't cry, I will probably side-eye you, because we're human. How do you expect to let your emotions out? If you hold everything in, pressure bust pipes. So eventually you're gonna either go crazy or you gonna crash out, and we're seeing a lot of crashing out today. So that just goes to show, like, you guys, this video can actually help somebody, and I want to put it out there because I actually got taught this information, because I don't think we actually think about grief. There's a lot of things that we can grieve, and we don't really actually take it into consideration. Like, oh, like, this is a loss. I lost this. I no longer have it. Let me go through the phases of grief and get over it. Come to acceptance, which is also a stage of grief, which we're going to get to along the line. Stick with me now. But sadness or depression, I don't think it's good to stay in this phase too long, depending on what it is. You know, for me personally, I try to give myself a time frame. I give myself a time frame to be sad, because if not, I will actually be depressed. There's a difference between depression and sadness. Depression is a long period of time that you're sad. Sadness is, it can be a couple days, something where you can shake back from it. Depression is a little more harder to get out of, so let's keep that in mind. Also, as I was saying, this information was given to me like actually it was given to me a couple days before I actually had to use the information, and I thank God, but I also think that it's crazy how life works when God is in your life, because the way things happen, so coincidentally, that's the word, right, Amy? Am I saying it right? Y'all know what word I'm trying to say. Stuff happens so coincidentally. Like, but it be God. Like, he literally has a hand in your life, and it's nobody but him. So therefore, I find it crazy that I received this information the day before I had to use it, and That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to put my personal business out there, but there was a loss in my family. That's all I'm going to say, and that is the reason for me taking a mental break. Moving on to the next phase, which is bargaining. Bargain. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. This phase is, for one, it takes place in the mind. It's more of a mind thing, and it's basically the art of trying to regain control after the loss. It's more so telling yourself like, well, you did this, so okay, you know, like, or sometimes it's more. Some people are in a good situation where it's not as negative, and some people is negative, but it can be like, oh, the what if question, or if I did this, what would happen if I did this, or if I did something different, what would be different, you know, like this. That is what bargaining is. Bargain. I'm gonna put the word right here because I literally, like, some words just I can't pronounce, y'all. I'm like, it's the country in me, like, real life. But I'm gonna put the word is gonna be right here. So yes, it takes place in the mind, and it's the art of trying to regain control. And usually questions arise like wondering what could you have done differently. Personally, in the phases of grief that I just had to go through, I really didn't have to go through this phase right here. It was a phase that I literally had to skip over, because in the situation I did everything I could. There was nothing more that I could have did, because I gave everything I could, literally. So therefore, that I kind of skipped over this phase in a sense. And so that brings me to my next phase, which is anger. And anger can happen when there's things unresolved, or, you know, something is just very sudden. Like, you know, anger can come from a lot of things when it comes to grief. Something that really personally that stuck with me going through the phase of, or going through this phase, are like little triggers, things that are like things that remind me of that person or thing, or, you know, if it's a person, somewhere that we used to go together, or something we used to do together. Like, those are triggers. Like, if you do those things and you're like, oh, this literally all this does is remind me of that person or something. Like you, do y'all understand? Y'all sticking with me? Are y'all sticking with me, or y'all confused? So that's that for anger. The last phase is acceptance. This is learning to live with what happened and being okay and at peace with the actions you took, the things that happened, and no longer just carrying the baggage of being sad about it, or being triggered about it, or crying, and just, you know, all of those things. This is the phase where it starts. This is the phase where the healing starts. The healing starts after this phase. After you've gotten to this phase, the healing starts. Some people never make it to this phase, and that's why I am making this video, because a lot of people are stuck in one of those other phases that I mentioned, you know. And sometimes it's like we won't even know. Like, you just think like, oh, I'm good, like, because some days we have to get up and we have to be good. We have no choice but to be good. But this is why you have to stop and pay attention to your mental health, pay attention to your body, your mind, your spirit. You have to get right with God, because He is there to help you. He gives you the strength when you don't have the strength on your own. Because we go through things that test us. Like, we're in temptation almost every day. Our faith is tested every day. We're tested in places that we are weak. with God, this is how we become strong and gain strength. So let's keep that in mind. Moving forward, some advice that I can give to help with the stages of grief that I think that helped me honestly is, for starters, just be pure, have a genuine heart, don't hold back. Like, if it's something you want to tell somebody, tell them. Do not wait, because tomorrow is not promised. Life is short. Death is literally knocking at everybody's door. So, you know, give people, we should visit and give people their flowers while they're alive, because if not, then you're stuck with that. If they pass away, you're stuck with that. So this is why you should be nice. You should go visit people you haven't seen in a while, or even a phone call. Y'all, we have phones. We have phones, y'all. Back in the day, you had no choice but to go visit. We didn't have phones or write a letter, like. So let's keep that in mind, guys. But the next thing is, do and be your best every day, no matter what. Sometimes it is hard to show up and do your best, but that is even more reason why you should, because the days that you wake up and you feel like you don't, you're literally under attack, and you should go to God about it, because he's the one who's going to give you strength on that day where you feel like you don't have the strength to get out of bed or to go do whatever you got to do. So the next one, the last but not least one, is be kind. It don't cost nothing to be kind, because you never know, you literally never know if someone's grieving something, if someone's going through something. You never know. Someone could walk around and be the most functional person ever, walk around with the biggest smile on their face. The happiest people are usually the ones who are dealing with the most stuff, who has the saddest background story or stuff like that. So you never know what someone's dealing with. So it don't cost nothing to be nice or be kind, give a compliment. You know, like, just, y'all, so people don't even smile no more. Just give a smile. Like, if you see someone, just, like, literally, I smile at people all the time. People be like, probably be like, why she smiling? Like, it don't cost nothing. It's not coming out of my pocket. I'm not losing anything. So just smile, or, you know, just be kind. Everyone has their own way of dealing with these phases of grief, and like I said before already, everyone goes through the phases in a different sequence. So let's keep that in mind, because you just never know. You literally never know. Unless someone open their mouth, you won't know. You literally won't. So, and that's it for the things that we should keep in mind moving forward. Now let's jump into these questions that you should ask yourself, or you can answer them in the comments. You can answer them, send them to my DMs, or you can just jot them down, answer them yourself, and keep it to yourself. So the first question is, are you currently grieving the loss of someone or something? If so, what stage are you in right now? That's the first question. The second question is, how long have you been in this phase? The first question was a two-part question. Let me just put that out there. That was the second question. The third question is, what was the hardest phase? This is a two-part question. And what was the easier stage? The last question is, how do you move forward, or how did you move forward if you already have? That's actually it for this video, y'all. I thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys again. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video, because this video can help somebody. I feel like that this is probably one of my most important videos, and no matter the time frame, like if it's 5 years from now, this video can help somebody. So if it helped you, pass it along so it can help somebody else. and tell them to tell a friend. Thank you.